All right, you are looking live at the NASDAQ, which it was a defensive day today, so the NASDAQ took a little bit of a breather. As you can see, it's down 88 points or 0.55% and closed at 15,947 on the session. The index is still above all of its moving averages, 0.4% above its 10, 1.3% above its 21 EMA, and 4% still above this rising 50 simple moving average. The volume was average, 1% above the average daily volume. So the NASDAQ looks okay. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday, maybe it was Monday, showed you the MDY, this mid-cap stocks, doing a little better here. This is up on this session, and so the rotation out of the mega cap tech stocks and into these mid and smaller cap stocks are definitely taking place. A trend lasts over time and not just over a few days. The IWM was down today, the Russell 2000 down a little more than the NASDAQ. So anyway, let's take a look at some stocks. NVDA is one of the top stocks. We've never seen a $2 trillion stock with triple-digit earnings and sales growth. So this is definitely the leader or the kingpin of the AI-themed bull market, and it just had a real outstanding earnings report. It ramped higher. Now it's just pulling back to its moving average here. So NVIDIA is doing nothing wrong. It was down 1.32% today, but like I say, doing nothing wrong. Its partner, Advanced Micro Devices, pulled back to its 10, and I really like the way this thing's trading tight. And you could see today had an inside day, tightening up right around the 10 there. That thing looks delicious. But we'll see what happens here in the next couple of sessions. AMD is looking good. Meta Platforms, this is another one of the large cap tech stocks I want to show. It's just forming a shelf here, just holding above. It's moving averages, doing nothing wrong. Like I say, as long as the moving averages are rising and it's staying above the moving averages, you're making money, you're doing fine. SMCI, I'm telling you, this thing's gonna befuddle the shorts and the longs before it's done. This is a tough one. Obviously, it had the reversal on the the blow off top day, and then bounced. This is a February 16th. Bounced higher, made it up to 1,000 again, and now it's just been selling off. Closed at the lows today, lows of the session, 13% of its daily range. It's still 9% above its 21. So you just got to keep that 21 in mind here. If you're interested in getting in this thing, might bounce here off the 10 or it might come down to the 21. But I definitely keeping my eye on a super microcomputer. I'm going to move on today. Like I say, it was a defensive day, and some of the defensive names, like GE, were performing great. You can see this has been a breakout and a run higher. Diversified operations, but these are energy, take power and power equipment to fuel this AI themed bull market, the data centers, semiconductors. So GE has been a big benefactor and a big player there. Eaton, another diversified operations stock, just broke out and trending higher. The trend is your friend. And that is a nice trend for Eaton. STRL, this one got the downgrade today. The cover your ass downgrade, where he raised the price. He downgraded the stock, then raised the price target from 86 to 115. So you covered on both ends there. Good job. That was I forget what company did that. Doesn't matter. Train, the another one of these in the data center area, and this one's just trending higher as well. Train, they've got the air conditioner, the climate control units, yeah. So Train is doing well. Fix, same thing. This thing's just grinding higher, gapped higher on earnings, and continues. That's what you want to see after a gap higher. You want to see You want to see it filling in that gap. You want to just continue to show strength. So Comfort Systems fix looks fantastic. CEG Constellation, this is a spinoff from Exelon, and this one has been excellent. Man, this is why we pay attention to these breakouts with volume. And I say, not to be ignored. That's a move not to be ignored. It was up 17% with, nearly 200% above average daily volume. What does it do? The very next day, rallies nearly 10% on, even more volume. So definitely institutions getting into Constellation Energy. And I'm going to move on to the drug section now. Viking. I'm talking about Viking forever, and I'm getting a lot of questions about it now that it had that positive trial data in the weight loss category. But it was up 121% yesterday. I think we'd pull back a little bit, profit taking inside day. They announced a secondary offering. Nope, it goes up 11% the next day because people know that this thing's going to get bought, and it's going to get bought for a lot more than $100. I think $100 is a floor. What is it? A little over 9 billion market cap now. Let's say Merck or Pfizer will buy them for, I don't know, maybe 15 billion, 12 to 15 billion. So this thing still has, maybe a 50% premium here to go. Yeah, I'd say about 150. It's going to have a hefty price target. It's got superior data to Novo Nordisk than Eli Lilly. So there's no denying it. And if a company wants to get into that weight loss game where there's a big market cap, Vikings sure does look pretty ripe right now. TGTX, TG Therapeutics, they reported earnings this morning. Not bad. I mean, 44 million compared to nothing last year. So, a 999% earnings beat. But the CEO, the important things that they said a lot of important things about their launch and getting into Europe. But the most important thing I think from an investor standpoint is that they're going to be profitable. So they don't need any cash raise, no secondary offerings like a Viking just did. They're going to be profitable. They're going to have earnings, sales and earnings growth. And I told you yesterday, they got the patent for 2042. Yeah, for another 18 years. That's like unheard of. I had to do a double take when I heard that. But anyway, TGTX, nice day, up 26%. Nice move. Now it's above its moving averages here. Gap higher. This is a heavily shorted stock. I like it, above 20, a little better here to push away from this. But we'll see what it does in the subsequent days and weeks ahead. AQST. I'm going to keep bringing this one up. I know people don't like, $3 tech biotech stocks. But this one, I listened to their presentation, and these guys have something. It was up 14% again today after the big move yesterday, 12%. People are catching on. I believe, I don't know, this could go a lot higher. I'm not going to put any price targets on it, but if you look at the monthly chart, they've got some good things happening here at AQST. This is Aquestive Therapeutics. Anyway, I'm going to move on. Beam had the big move and had an inside day, and that's what you expect after a big day. Not like what Viking did. Viking, goes up and up. This one had an inside day. It looks fine. That's what you expect. TARS had a big day yesterday, and this one ran up to 40, then pulled back. So another biotech making noise, and then DNLI. This one had a big day yesterday, just an inside day today, and that's kind of what you expect there. It's rejected at the 200. So that's enough for the drugs and the biotech. And I did the diversified operation construction. Let's go to retail. Like I say, it was a defensive day, and there wasn't a lot moving there in the tech area. There's a lot of utilities doing well, but in retail, I'm going to go to the restaurant stocks. Shake Shack just went through 100 like a hot knife through butter. I was a little surprised. I thought it would be rejected and pull back to the 10, but this thing seems like it wants higher prices. I was on a, I don't know, show today, and the gentleman that I was speaking with, Larry from Boston, was talking about, people are working. So when people work, they like to go out, dine out. It doesn't have to be a fancy place, but Shake Shack is definitely one of those. And while people are working, these retail restaurant stocks should be doing well. Wingstop, I just had an inside day, looks fantastic. Made a new high yesterday. Chipotle, Mexican Grill, CMG, Gap Tire now pulled back to the 10 and it's just surfing the 10. That thing looks fantastic. Okay, before I get into the shoes, I've got to go to Elf. Elf is just really surprising me. I shouldn't be surprised because if you look at the weekly, this is what it did in the past. You know, it had this base, and it had this base down here in 2022, then ran for more than a year, and now it forms another base. Is it going to run for another year? My gosh, it sure looks like it. The last time I've got to go to a daily chart. The last time it got to 100, yeah, it kind of sputtered along here. The gap tire and then kind of sputtered for a few weeks before really taking off, you know, to 137 pretty quickly. This time it's at 200, so I don't know if it's going to struggle here or it's just going to go right through it. I don't know. It's at 205 after hours, but Alpha looks fantastic. Very strong stock. Nice to have when you know, your tech stocks aren't working. You got Alpha in your back pocket. Looks pretty good. Anyway, I got to go to some of the shoe stocks. Crocs. I had this on our ready list. I think it was last week. It broke out of its base. It might have been the week before, and then pulled back. Didn't even come back to the 10, and now it's ramping higher. It's pulling away from its pivot area, but Crocs looks fantastic. Breaking out of a stage 1 base. That's what you want, right? Get into that stage 2 phase and start ramping higher. ONON, this is one that I do have on our ready list, and it was trading tight within its base. So I liked it around 31. Now it's around 34, and it's got a standard buy point there. You can see at the 37.08. So, God, they report earnings on the 12th. So maybe it'll do something like this and then pull back and allow this moving average to catch up before it blasts higher, hopefully, for our on holdings. And then Deckers, of course, I've got to mention Deckers with their Hoka brand. Hoka doing 450 million in sales. They bought it for 1 million in 2012. What a steal of a deal. Or 2013. I think it's been a little over 10 years since they've had the Hoka brand. But anyway, the breakout, go back to the 51 time now, just surfing the tens to higher prices. Beautiful. That is a thing of beauty. All right, I'm going to move on. Bitcoin, you know, it's not retail, it's not drugs, it's not defensive, it's just Bitcoin. And it's been having a real nice rally here. Broke out, you know, I like to look at charts, so you don't even need to know what it does, and you can tell that this thing's on a real heater, a breakout and a move higher, and that's what Bitcoin's doing. And all things Bitcoin related are rallying. This is MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor's company, and they've been buying up Bitcoin. I think it hit 1,000 today, 1,088. Got rejected, still closed right in the middle of its daily range. These moving averages have to catch up. It's been awfully gappy. You can see gap here. Look at how many gaps this thing's had. And nobody says a word about it. But SMCI, everybody's all over SMCI. Look at these gaps, man. That's pretty scary. At some point, it's going to come back and allow these moving averages to catch up. But MicroStrategy is on a heater. Mara, this is another one. They reported earnings tonight. I thought it would sell off. Yeah, it's down 11%. I should have saved this one for my earnings reports. But yeah, because you know when you don't want to own a stock when it's making new highs and reporting earnings because there's going to be profit takers. I don't even know what they said, but down 11%. It could be a good report and just profit taking. So I'll have to read what Mara had to say. And then, of course, Coin, which is Coinbase, which is the platform. This one we had on our ready list last week, I believe. It pulled back to its 10 EMA and now blasted higher. Might have some resistance there at 200. We'll have to see. It looks very strong, though. I like that structure of that base. And then IBIT, the Bitcoin Exchange Traded Fund, which is BlackRock's, I believe. I don't know. I don't know who's funding these things, but it doesn't get a. Let me see. Well, this is gappy, just like Bitcoin, right? Ever since it IPO'd, you know, pulled back, formed a little base with handle, and the last 3 sessions been blasting higher. Not sure about the you know, the volume on this thing. Oh gosh, yeah, it gets plenty of volume. Says average 19 million. So anyway, that looks enticing. Defensive day, we got some inflation data coming out tomorrow. I don't think one data point means a whole hell of a lot, but we'll see how the market reacts to what should be some pretty hot inflation data. And like I say, it takes more than one or two data points to make a trend. We need to see a few months of hot inflation data, and I don't think it's going to bother the Fed or the markets if it comes in hot tomorrow. So that's it for me. Except for I lied. I have one more thing. We have some earnings out after hours, and we have some real hits and some real misses. Snowflake delivered, a good quarter, but it's selling off on down to 174 now, which is oh boy, right? It's below its 200 SMA. I think it's a buy here at the 200 if it pulls back. There's a lot of support at that area. Even back here it was 178. Coincides with its 200. So just like Palo Alto Networks had sold off, their CEO is resigning, but the VP is coming in. I don't think it's a big deal, but just overreaction, and then the algos will go crazy tomorrow and sell the stock, and then I think it'll be an opportunity. So Snowflake, good report, personnel changes. So I'll have more in the morning about that stock. CRM, this is a Dow Jones stock. They reported a strong quarter, but down 4%. So we'll see. I'll have to read more up on it, and I'll have more in the morning, but down 4%, that might be an opportunity here as it pulls back to a moving average. Salesforce.com. Okay, I'm trying to get rid of some of these real ugly ones. OKTA. This is in the cybersecurity, the CrowdStrike, Palo Alto network space, and this one's up 20% after hours. Thank you. So merci. Very good for OKTA. I did not read the report. I'm just looking at it right now. Up 20%. Very nice. Pure Storage, Charlie Giancarlo's company. Yeah, up nearly 5% after hours. Very nice. Maybe it can take out the old high here. So good for Pure Storage. I don't have any data or information on their report, but it looks good, right? AI. It's got to be an AI. Nice move, 15%. Very nice. This thing was forming a base here at 3391. So if it's above that, that could be on our ready list. If it passes through a pivot point tomorrow morning, it will definitely be an area of interest. I got to watch that. So Okta Pure Storage. Okay, so the last one is Duolingo. Merci. It's up 20%. Holy guacamole. Very nice move. Getting back once again to this pivot point, the old high of 245, and this could end up on our ready list tomorrow if this thing blasts through a pivot point. So I just gotta have to watch it tomorrow and in the next couple of days. We'll see how it reacts, how it responds, and if it could get some volume and power higher. Anyway, that's it for me. I'll be back in the morning. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up.